Because are the kids really going to be honest and tell you what they think in today's climate? I don't know. Seems unlikely. Seems pretty unlikely that a kid who watches what happens to people who dare speak anything that opposing gays or transgendered are vilified. They're made fun of. What kid wants that? So you kind of go with the flow. What do you think? It's kind of designed to do that? All these movements are kind of designed that way. You may not oppose them, but to say anything in the least bit derogatory is a problem. School. Kids. It's where the transgender battle's taking place, other than the Target bathroom, of course. I have a 16-year-old son. He's at that point in his life where he's pretty much a man. He's experiencing all kinds of new freedoms in life. You remember that, don't you? As you're growing up, you get to that point where you're no longer a kid and you're starting to be able to make some adult decisions for yourself. It feels pretty good. Sometimes you don't make the right decisions, but at least you're free to make them for the most part. One of those decisions he's trying to make is something as trivial, I will admit, as sports. Doesn't know for sure if he wants to pursue football 100%, if he really loves it and wants to go all out for it, or if he just kind of likes it and wants to play, or maybe he doesn't want to play at all. Maybe he wants to work. He doesn't know. He's weighing his options. It's a tough decision for him to make. That's a tough decision for my 16-year-old son to make. Sports. But yet, a 10, 11, 12-year-old kid can make a decision as far as what sex they are? I'm sorry. I just have a hard time buying into that logic. You don't let your 12-year-old kid go play with matches and gas, do you? It's because they want to? They might want to. I can guarantee you there are quite a few kids who would love to go play with fire. But we don't let them. We're the adults. We're supposed to know better. And I know, I don't get it. I'm one of those people that don't get it. This is different. This is a whole different thing. They know. You can feel it in their very core what sex they are. I have a hard time swallowing that one. I really do. And what's wrong with advising them as adults, as their parents? How about you stop it? But you don't understand, Rod. They've done all that. These kids who've transgendered have gone through all that. Their parents have given them options. Yeah, I've seen some of the options, and I've seen some of the parents. Don't you think that this whole transgendered agenda, this movement, and the fact that it's so prevalent now and such a big deal that it's all over the place on the news and TV is part of I guess, for lack of a better term, something to distract us from other things? I don't know, it's just a thought. I hate to be all conspiratorial. Maybe in North Carolina it's a big deal. I get it. It's, it's a legal fight. And that does make news. But it just seems a little overblown to me. I don't know. It's a confusing thing, and it's hard because emotions are involved in parents, and especially when it comes to kids. The minute you bring a kid into any situation, it immediately changes everything. I don't know. I'd like your input. If you have some insight that you can give me, help me understand it. I'm open. I'm not a closed-minded asshole. I do understand this happens. This is part of life today in 2016. It's not about hatred. It's not about bigotry. For me, mostly, it's about what's the right thing to do here. That's mostly what it's about. Not about denying anybody anything. Just a question I have. Raising 3 kids, knowing how they were when they were 5, 6 years old, and again, when they were 10, 11, 12, watching the stages of their life and asking myself, if my kid came to me and said, I feel like I'm a boy, one of my 2 daughters, I feel like I'm a boy, Dad. What do you mean you feel like a boy? What does that mean? What do you mean? I just feel like I'm a... I have a hard time even grasping where you start there. Eventually, I guess, where does this end? We're all the same. We're all the same. Nothing defines you anymore. If your genitalia can't define you, there aren't a lot of borders left, are there, folks? If your birth certificate and your genitalia do no longer define you as a person, then I guess there isn't a whole lot left. All right. rodgraphing@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.